Hi, everyone. Welcome to Real Talk with...
I'm Tom. I thought you were going to say Tom. No, I'm Joanne. Go ahead.
Some days, are we Tom, Joanne, interchangeable?
With Tom and Joanne. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you all again.
Thanks for joining us again. So we're excited because now it's kind of, if you watched our last video, it was about value, assessed value, appraised value, market value. And we really got into the meat and potatoes of assessed value. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and check out our link for that video first, because this will be a kind of a continuation of that. So we talked last time about assessed value and what that means, and also talking about online sources. Tom actually just used a word that I love. Can I
Go ahead, you
share
can
it?
use it. What is it?
Instead, sometimes we've heard guesstimates,
Okay.
but Tom used mestimates.
Oh, mestimates. When referring to online estimates
that.
of your home, it's a mess. Okay, and that's, I think that's what you're referring to.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so and why we say that, and I mean we're saying that jokingly, but this is a real deal that you should be very concerned with. So your assessed value we talked about last week, there's a lot of inaccuracies in your assessed value, right? And a lot of these third-party companies online give you a value on a property based on inaccurate information.
Right.
So you can see how important this is. I mean, we're laughing about it, but it is a big deal.
Yeah, and if you think about it, as you're sitting there, no one's been in my home. How do they know what my home is worth?
Yeah. And do you know why they do that even?
No.
Do you know why all these companies offer these free estimates? Because they want you as a lead, okay? So these online companies get your information, and be quite honest with you, they sell it back to us realtors. That's what they do. They're in the lead generating business. They're not in the free estimate business, right? They're trying to generate it, and they do a great job of it, right? They do a great job.
Because I feel like we've all gone online and we want to know the value of our home.
Right. But so back to the assessed value. The assessed value, which they use quite often, that assessed value is then taken to the treasurer, as we mentioned, and now your taxes are calculated. So they take that assessed value. So if you have a $300,000 home, okay, assessed value, the assessor takes that, then they deduct any exemptions you might have on that home, and that's how we determine your real estate taxes. So maybe tell us a little bit about exemptions, Joanne. What kind of exemptions can we file?
Yeah, so exemptions, and we'll kind of focus on, you file exemptions in Indiana and Illinois. Tom and I are licensed in both states. So every state has a different type of exemption, and you have to check online. And again, we can help you with that, how to do that information, because you may qualify for some additional things. Now, if you live and own your home, you qualify for a homeowner's, we call that in Illinois here, homestead exemption. So again, meaning you live in the home. So you qualify for a deduction on that. There's also other exemptions, such as if you are 65 or older. So that would be a senior exemption. If you happen to be disabled, there's also that type of benefit as well. So is there a difference, Tom, with exemptions? Because I've seen, when we look at homes, some taxes seem so much higher, but maybe a block away, it's a little bit less.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
You know, one thing I want to talk to, what we do, like if you're looking to buy a home, we offer what's called a free buyer consultation. And why that's important, we explain all that in that consultation. So you might see a home online and say, boy, they're asking $200 for that one, but those taxes are $5,000, where the other one's only $2,000. I'm going to buy the one that's $2,000, right? You would think, heck, I'm going to buy the one that's got less taxes. But what you don't understand is one might have exemptions on it, the other doesn't have exemptions on it. So when you buy a home, your exemptions you qualify for will then fall in place, and those taxes will be based on your exemptions, not on the current homeowner's exemptions.
Now, as a buyer, how do I know that?
Right.
And that's where people like Tom and I come in handy, because we look at those things and we can see what exemptions are on that home, and we can advise you through that process.
And one thing real important to understand is, like you mentioned, a senior exemption. Okay, you may qualify for a senior exemption now, but you didn't 10 years ago when you bought your home. But they don't call you up and say, hey, Joanne, just want to let you know you now qualify for a senior exemption. I want to make sure you get that recorded. Okay, so those are things we can check for you. So feel free to reach out to us at askweikert@gmail.com. Reach out anytime. If you'd like a copy of your tax bill, your exemptions, any of those things, we're here to service you.
We can definitely help with that. Now, Tom, is there a difference between, say someone owns a home and has exemptions, but if there's a home that's vacant and not occupied,
So let's talk about Indiana right now.
Mhm.
So in Indiana, they passed a law in 2001 that it's 1% of your assessed value is the maximum you can be taxed.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now that's where you want a low assessed value, right? You want your assessed value to be low because now your taxes are
Yes.
low.
Mhm.
Okay. So it's 1% if you're owner occupied, 2% if it's non-owner occupied, which is typically a rental property, or if somebody owns a vacation home.
Okay.
So in Indiana, if you have a $200,000 home, it's 1%,
Mhm.
$2,000 are taxes. There's some miscellaneous things that can be on top of it depending on referendums and things. So we usually say 1.2% of your assessed value will be the real estate taxes.
That's a good point, Tom. I'm actually going to stop
Okay.
you. Tom just mentioned there's different cities have different things. Maybe
Right.
there's a school, they might have different
Right.
taxes on there
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah. So it's 1% if you're owner occupied, 2% if it's a rental or non-owner occupied. So that same $200,000 home can be $4,000 in real estate taxes. And that's why when buyers look and go, oh shoot, I don't want to buy that home, the taxes are $4,000. It's only because they don't have the exemptions on there. When you buy it and file the exemptions, yours will go down to that $2,000 instead of 1%.
yeah.
So a lot of people, in our buyer consultation, we'll tell you go after the ones with the higher taxes.
Mhm.
Now you might be, why would I want to do that? Because there's less demand on those homes, and typically you can buy them for less than you can other homes. People don't understand that. Okay?
Right.
Because once you buy it, you file your exemption, taxes are going to come down anyway. So
Yeah.
don't worry about it. So it's 1% owner occupied, 2% for
For
non-owner occupied,
non-occupied.
which is
Okay.
huge to understand.
Now, how do I go about, Tom, filing for exemptions? What do I need to do for that?
Okay, so when you buy a home, some of the title companies used to file them for you, but you can just go online and file for your exemptions online, or you can go into your county and file them. So check with your county. It's a very important thing. We always walk you through that process, when you close on your home. And the other thing is, one thing that people don't realize, if you have a mortgage on your home and you refinance it, a mortgage is an exemption. When you refinance it, you have to refile that mortgage exemption. Most people don't understand that, so a lot of times there's no mortgage
I
exemption
could see
on
that
there.
being skipped, or you're not
Correct.
aware to do that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when you refinance, go back and,
Right.
and talk to the
But
assessor
please,
office.
there's a lot of different exemptions on there. There's veterans
Yes.
exemptions, which thank God for veterans, and they deserve
Absolutely.
to have those exemptions. We appreciate that. There's senior exemptions, disability. So there's a lot of exemptions you may qualify for that you're not even taking advantage of right now. So reach out to us anytime. We'll get a copy of your tax report and share that with you. Again, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, we'd love to be your trusted advisor to walk you
Absolutely.
through the processes.
Yeah.
But most importantly, make sure you have somebody representing you that understands these things, because it's a big deal.
It is.
I mean, we were laughing about the assessed value, but it's a huge number that's used in your tax calculations. So
Right, and you need to know these things. If you're someone who is purchasing a home and you have a lender and you have a loan, you need to look at not only the price of your home, but the taxes. So you want to make sure that those numbers, will work out.
Again, you don't need to be experts on that,
No.
but you need to have a trusted advisor that is, and we would love to be that person for you.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for listening today. Reach out at askweichert@gmail.com
At gmail.com.
if you have any questions.
Yes.
Anything else?
No, I think we're good.
We're out.
Anything
Great seeing
else?
you guys. Take care now.
Thanks for joining Real Talk.
Bye, all.
Bye.